If you haven't started flying yet, you might be wondering how difficult is it, how expensive is it, can you ever hope to fly? Well, I can tell you that I'm surrounded by people that do fly. We've all managed to do it. So perhaps this is a great opportunity to ask them how you actually get involved, whether it's worth flying, can you afford it, what's the starting point? So let's find out a bit more. Is it worth flying, Sebastian Pooley?
Absolutely it is, yeah. Well, I wouldn't say no, would I? What a ridiculous thing. Of course it is. Flying is one of the most exhilarating experiences you'll ever come across. It really is. And we were talking about price. It's not expensive to get into, so, you know, let's get everybody up and flying as soon as possible. We're in a beautiful weather. It's been a fantastic day here at Compton Abbas, and we've had loads of people coming and flying in, and they're just loving it. They're enjoying the day. Okay. So, do fly.
Flying, keeping on going around our panel here. What do you reckon? Is it worth flying?
Definitely, yep. I've just started doing my PPL recently, so being female and quite young shows that it isn't actually that expensive. So yeah, I think everyone should. A little bit biased, but...
Why are you biased?
Well, my parents own the airfield.
Well, you obviously enjoy it, otherwise you wouldn't be doing it. Let's keep on going around.
Yeah, flying is fantastic. It's one of those things where there's always something more you can do to improve on. A bit like learning an instrument. It's challenging, which is part of what makes it fun, I think. And it is more accessible than I think most people realise. There's loads of general aviation airfields all over the UK and indeed the world. And it's a very friendly, close-knit community. So it's a welcoming industry or pastime to get involved in.
Yeah. So you enjoy it? What about you?
Well, I think it's slightly misconceived when people think that it is expensive, because if you look at the actual costs compared to many other sports, it's not that much. And people tend to think of looking at an aircraft going, oh my goodness me, it's very expensive. There are lots of different types of aircraft. You've got twins, singles, you've got microlights, you've got gliders. So it depends on what you want to do. You cut your cloth according to your cost. You can go flying in a glider for £12.50. You can go flying in a twin engine for £300. You can do a helicopter ride for £500. Or £150. So there is a massive spectrum of different sports that you can do in aviation. So it is slightly misconceived when people say across the board it's really expensive, because it's not.
Let's tackle one of the issues. Now, we've all done it. We've all studied for the aviation exams. And people, I think, at times look at this and go, look, I just can't sit through all that. How hard is it?
Well, it's not difficult at all, and I think one of the great things these days is there are different mediums with which you can actually study for your exams. So, to make it clear, in the UK you have 7 exams that you need to pass. And now you can either read the books, or you can do it on CBT, which is computer-based training, which for a lot of people makes it so much more accessible, and they can do it wherever they want to. You know, and I know a lot of people visualise this. They're in bed, they're at night, they're on their laptop, and they're just studying for their exams. You know, it couldn't get easier than that.
How long does it take?
Well, funny enough, it took me about 13 years, but that's but that's only because I started to learn to fly at the age of 13. But I I went through the University Air Squadron system, did some flying with them. I dipped in and dipped out of it a bit, but I got my license at 26, and I did it probably. I mean, you could do it in anything from 2 months, I would have thought, or probably or 18. You know, no problem.
You're learning now.
Yes.
So how do you feel about the exams?
Not too worried. We've got in our members, we've got numerous young people. All of them have found it okay whilst they're doing a lot of exams as well. Peter's got plenty of help with it, with all the books for the exams.
So, with the plug. Well done. Yeah, you get some extra material now.
Exactly, yeah, get some freebies. Yeah. So, I mean, it just shows that anyone can do it from whatever age, so not particularly difficult, really.
Now, of course, private pilot exams are slightly different as well, aren't they, when you start taking it a bit further as well. So, how much harder does it get when you start learning advanced skills?
It gets a little bit harder, but I think it's not so much harder, but there's more of it. The ATPL exams, the Airline Transport Pilot's Licence exams, there's 14 of those, and you need to pass those to progress towards flying commercially. They build on what you learn for your PPL, and typically take about 6 to 10 months to achieve. But I passed those end of last year, or mid last year, took a lot of work to get through all the material, but was it really difficult? I don't think so. It's just more the volume of it and having the motivation to keep going through when you know you've got 300 lessons to get through.
So is that the problem, do you think? Is it the perception?
Yeah, again, I think it is the perception. I think Sebastian hit the nail on the head when he says nowadays, with the medias that we have, you can sit in front of your laptop. Young kids now who are learning to fly between 18 and 24 are used to using computers, and it's part of their learning process. So you put your CD in, you sit down, and it goes through it. In our day, when Sebastian and I were learning, you did have to just read these great big thick books, and now it's a lot easier. So for young people, yeah, I think it's a lot easier for them.
One of the things we found when we were researching and setting up FullFlat.tv is that a lot of young people still have quite a negative image of aviation as being an unfriendly world. Is it unfriendly?
Absolutely not. I think Ludo alluded to this earlier. It's one of the most rewarding, welcoming experiences you could get involved in, and I think, as Ludo again said, it's a very tight-knit community, and everyone knows each other. Everyone's exceptionally supportive. So I would say it's all inclusive. Get involved.
How are you finding it?
Yeah,
well, I suppose you're biased again.
again, yeah.
If Dad owns the airfield, you do the work.
Yeah, technically. No, it is really friendly. I mean, we've got a great members database, like I think most airfields do. Lots of club outings, lots of help with everyone getting together and helping each other out, and it is definitely a very friendly thing to get into.
Okay, well, let's round it up. If we can give literally just a couple of very quick tips on if someone's sitting at home watching this right now, perhaps they're playing flight sim at home, but they really want to take it to the next level, what do they do? One tip from each of you. Can we do that? Sebastian?
Well, it's quite straightforward. Get onto the internet, look on your search browser, and type in flight training, and it will find somebody locally for you. Call them.
Come up to Compton. Does that count?
Unless you're in Tasmania, in which case there might be something slightly nearer.
No, same thing. I mean, there's numerous places you can fly all over the internet. It's really easy to get into, and just go up and have a trial lesson if you're unsure about it. Most places do them, so.
Okay, what about you? One more time.
Well, I was going to say trial lesson, but I think another thing you could do to find more about it is talk to some of the institutions. There's some really supportive institutions, such as the Guild of Air Pilots and Air Navigators.
That's the UK one, isn't it?
That's the UK institution. There's the Royal Aeronautical Society, who aren't specifically focused on piloting, but they cover the broad range of disciplines within aviation. And they're, again, two really welcoming and helpful institutions that you could talk to.
Right.
I think worldwide people need to think more about what kind of flying they want to do. Rather than just go for motorised, you can do gliding, hang gliding, you can do microlighting. There are many other facets involved in aviation, so rather than just focus on, oh, I'm going to fly a powered aircraft, you can do anything. So rather than just look at that, open your eyes. Every country has loads of different sport flying going on, so there's the opportunities.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much to the panel. Hopefully that was useful to you. We'll have loads more advice like that coming up for you, of course, over the coming weeks and months here on FullFlat.tv.